Hello, 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 and welcome back to everyone. This is episode 8 of the Park After Dark. I am joined today by my good friend, Mr. Surveillance. Surveillance, thanks for being here as usual. And
Thank you for
today,
having me.
absolutely, today we're going to do something a little bit different for the Park After Dark. I figured we play a game. Now,
Mm.
the game that we're going to play today is a game that I'm going to put an open challenge to the internet. And that open challenge is going to be hashtag 100 million poster lineup challenge. $100 million.
Million.
And surveillance, we do not gnaw on our kitty. Um, so yeah, $100 million. The scenario is as follows. You have been hired to be the roller coaster ride developer for a brand new theme park. There are no roller coasters pre-existing in this park. So, for $100 million, we have to come up with what I would put into my park and what surveillance would put into his park. And as we're going along, hopefully you at home or in the car, in the office, swimming, wherever you happen to be watching this, I'm not too sure, you know, if you like to swim and listen to podcasts. I mean, that could be a thing, right? Right? I mean, maybe anybody swimming podcast. Anyway, uh, hopefully you're kind of playing along at home and you're getting an idea as to what the prices for some of these coaster models would fall under. So I think you'll get a little better idea as to what we're looking for as we start to roll through. Um, but we're going to go back and forth. We're going to go one at a time. We're going to see if we can come up with a consensus as to how much the ride that we want to install in our park would cost. And to make it fair, we don't want to have people that are entering their ride lineups as three versions of Velocicoaster because you'd never be able to build that for $100 million. So, you have to be a little creative. Now, there is one more part to this little challenge: is surveillance and I cannot replicate roller coasters. So, as we go
Ooh.
back and forth, we are taking ride models off the table completely. So, with that being said, I am going to give you the very first roller coaster choice.
I think I'm going to take a wild moose, Alex.
You're going to take a wild moose. So,
Yep.
now what are we anticipating that to cost? Or are we saying roughly 10 to 12 million?
I've seen 10 to 15 estimate.
Okay. Yeah, so why don't we say 12 and a half? That's kind of a
Okay.
meet in the middle. So you are down to 88. You're gonna have to keep track of your numbers, and by the power of post editing, you're gonna see the scores right there and right there for each of us in post production. So um, we're gonna do our best to try and remember, but if we happen to get a little incorrect, I hopefully will be able to correct that on screen for us. So
And
a wild
please
moose.
correct us. Please
A
correct us
wild.
in the comments.
Yeah, yeah, please correct us in the comments. Definitely great idea. And I think that my first choice, because I am a Kennywood boy, I really want to be known for my wooden roller coasters. So
Mm.
I am going to go with a GCI Twister. And the GCI Twister with Millennium Flyer trains. Definitely Millennium Flyer trains. Um, and a bigger layout. Not a small one. So I am guesstimating also in about that $15 million range for that ride, maybe even 20. What are your thoughts on pricing that out?
So give me an example. I'm not so up to date. Like pull my coaster card, I know, but like what would be a great example of a twister model? Like I just
So uh, Dollywood's Thunderhead is a twister. Um, and
like
that is that is what I would kind of be targeting, is that ilk of ride. And I think the Texas Stingray, when it was built, was about 12 million back in 18.
So
So
I would
I
I would
think it's
say
going to be every bit of 17 and a half to $20 million
that's exactly
to.
where I was going. 15 to 20 million.
So why don't we call it 17 and a half? That'll put me down to 82 and a half. You are up, sir. Coaster number dose.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Just trying to think, what really would work great, but you don't want to blow your whole budget like on 3 rides.
That's it.
I would have to go a classic wooden coaster, probably a Gravity Group,
Okay.
since you already took GCI, you son of a bitch.
Well, I mean, you could go out and back GCI. I tried to be a little more specific to give you a little bit of leeway, if you wanted to.
But definitely a good classic wooden coaster.
All right.
And
Um,
if it could be Mystic Timbers, maybe a stretch, because that's what twenty
all
five
right.
million, like
Yeah,
at
that
least.
is definitely an out and back with that little dogwood L. So yeah, that I mean, we're probably talking about the same money as mine. So
Right.
you're probably talking about 30 all in at your point. You have about 70 million left. I am also going to go back to wooden coaster again, and I am going to Gravity Group as well, but I am going with the family Woody, something in the ilk of Bobcat from Six Flags Great Escape, with
Okay.
all the pre-cut prefab, something that's very easy to maintain, and those are roughly about 10, 12 million as well. So I'll say 12 and a half to be overly generous. And that would put me sitting at the same as you right now. We are both at 70 million remaining, two coasters installed each.
So I think I want a Vekoma, but I'm not sure which one. Like I don't know what Big Bear Mountain would cost, or if it even has to be that good. But
Okay, fair.
like I don't know what Dollywood spent for
I
Big
want to
Bear
say
Mountain.
Big Bear was about 30 million bucks, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's like 5,000 feet of track. I mean, it's so long, it's huge.
So that's what she said. Uh,
That's
but
well played.
I'd say maybe half of Big Bear Mountain. And I know
All right, so
I'm going family heavy, but I mean,
all right, so you're going family, multi-launch Vekoma, about 2,500 feet of track. We'll call it 15 million. Say about half of what Big Bear was.
okay,
Um,
that
so
sounds
that'll
fair.
brings you down to about 55. Um, I'm going to stick with Vekoma too, just to make this a little easier for us so far. Um, I am going to go with a multi-launch Top Gun model, a model that has been popularized over in Asia but has not yet come to America. That would definitely be my choice because I think that could help set some a little bit of a differentiating factor to maybe draw some of the North American market to want to come to my park to ride something that doesn't exist here yet. And those are also about 15 million bucks, which is going to put me sitting tied with you at 55 million each of us with three coasters installed.
It's like we planned this out, but we really didn't. I
We
promise.
did not. We have not discussed these at all.
Well, especially with the modern day hate B&M gets, like I would want a B&M dive. They're very GP friendly, no matter what
Mhm.
people enthusiasts think about them.
Now, are you
Like
talking a full size dive or are you talking a mini
uh,
dive?
probably a mini dive, just because I want to have more to play with. You know, only have 55 million left. So
All right. Well, that I believe that like Dorney was in the 15 range roughly for
okay.
Iron Menace. I believe so. Maybe 20, but I'll call it 15. I'll give the benefit of the doubt there. It'll bring you down to 40. And
Well, and you know, Cedar Fair / Six Flags is getting good deals because they're buying multiple projects at once. So
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Um, I am going to go for one of my signature rides at this point. I'm about to spend some money, buddy.
oh, here we go.
I am going into Europe,
Mm,
and I am going to build a Gerstlauer Hyper power coaster of the ilk of like a Schwarz de Carnen.
mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I'm
You're
liking that idea. I think that's a very unique ride. I think it's risky.
you're
Um,
getting above my pay grade.
and
Talking about
I'm
Europe.
expecting that to cost roughly about $30 million.
Okay, so you're down to 25.
I am down to 25, and that would be my fourth coaster installed.
Yeah, we both have 4. So
My target here is to wrap up and end with 6. So I'm trying to squeeze 2 more solid rides out. I think that 6 is a good number to finalize on. However, it is tempting to just shoot my shot, go with one more great ride for 25 million and call it a day at 5. But let me see where you go next. I don't want to have too much pressure on me here.
uh I want something mocked, but I don't know what Copperhead Strike costs. But I really always loved that ride since the first time I rode it.
Copperhead Strike, to the best of my memory, was between 20 and 25 million bucks.
Okay. So maybe just a cheaper, shorter version. Yeah. Because I'm like you, I don't want to just have 5 coasters. Like, yeah.
So let's if you want to go with a shorter version of it, why don't we say 17 and a half?
Okay.
So that would bring you down to what, 22 and a half?
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
All right. I have 25 left. Now, mm,
You can't decide whether you want to just blow it all or try to
well,
go 2 for 1. All right.
I I feel like I should really have an intimate, and we know that they're not cheap.
No.
So I am going to throw my 25 million at a slightly shortened, and I do mean slightly shortened because 25 million is not too far off what was spent on it. But with the strength of 5 Roman gods, I am going to create a slightly shorter version of Pantheon. Um,
Okay. I like it.
I definitely want to rock that swing launch, get that ejector airtime. And you know what? I could even be talked into like a Georgia Surfer to knock out the spinning element and a front and forward launch.
That's
As a
where
matter of fact, that's where I'm going. I am going with a Georgia Surfer, Intamin spinning launch coaster. That's what I'm going with. That is going to be um,
I
probably
wouldn't
about
even know where
50,
to start, what that costs.
15 million bucks.
Okay.
So
You're
um,
down to 10.
I'm down at 10. That'll give me one family ride. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. And it's on you.
See, I don't know what like a good Gerstlauer, like hang time and knots cost. Like that's not really ever been my thing to know what these rides cost. I mean, I know some of them, but
Hang time, I want to say, was in the low 20s, high teens when it was built.
And so I don't want to just blow it all on that one thing, but yeah, it's uh, have you been to Knott?
Whoever knew that it would be so difficult to spend $100 million?
Well, you got to use it wisely. You know,
That's true,
you could have 2 gigas, or you can have 6 decent roller coasters, and people can have a good time at your park.
right?
So, have you been to Knott?
Yes.
So, what's Sierra Sidewinder? Like, what would
See,
you? What would
Sierra
you?
Sidewinder is a mock rides spinner. So it is going to be very similar, excuse me, to Turbulence. I don't know if you've ever been to, um, and now I'm drawing a blank, up in New York.
Yeah, I haven't
Um,
been. I haven't been to any park in New York,
okay,
unfortunately.
well there is a spinner at one of the older classic parks up in New York, um, that uh, yeah, it's the same type of ride, but it's it's nothing too crazy. As a matter of fact, if you get a chance in the next year or two to get to Epic Universe, um, that the Wolfman spinner is a mock spinner, and I think it's going to have some type of little swing launch, but I think it's going to be a comparable layout to like what Sierra Sidewinder is.
So,
And
so
those are probably about $10 million too.
yeah. So my thought process is, I want something fun, but like it's not going to blow my whole 22.5 million.
Right.
And I enjoyed Sierra Sidewinder. Like, is it the greatest roller coaster you're ever going to ride? But no. But is it fun? I think so.
Yeah. No, that's that works. And my final, I would probably, I don't know. I would probably have to go to hmm, for $10 million. I'm gonna do my best to get an RMC Raptor, one of the short, cloned, kind of like what.
Well,
Uh,
I know. Before inflation got crazy, you could get one between 5 and 10. Right?
so yeah, I think closer to 10. I think I'm probably asking for a little bit of lenience from you to be able to say 10 million for one, but uh, I don't
I'm
think I'm that far out off kilter. Um,
No, I don't think Kentucky Kingdom was going to spend 10 on stunt pilot, so I'm good with it.
again,
I said I don't think Kentucky Kingdom was going to spend 10 on stunt pilot, so I'm good with it.
yeah,
Which
yeah. I think that is a pretty solid lineup.
we have a
But
we have a run in. I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with doggies coming in. So, is that what was your last?
So for 12.5 million, see, I wish I was more educated on the cost of coasters, because I really don't know. Like, I would love to have an Intamin, but I don't even think Intamin's going to talk to you for 12.5 million.
I mean, you could probably get. I mean, 12.5 million. You could probably do something similar to like a shortened version of like Gold Rush, the ride that we've been seeing a lot on the internet from over in Europe. It's like a little intimate family coaster that they've been talking about a lot.
Right.
Where it has some type of switch track or something like that. I don't fully understand the ride, but it does look interesting. You probably could get away with a $12.5 million intimate family coaster. So, if you want to just leave it nondescript and just say intimate family coaster for 12 and a half
Yeah, because
million, we can definitely do that.
like I said, pull my coaster card, but it's just something I've never studied that much. Like, I don't know what these rides cost, like, per se. I mean, I know
Well,
some stuff.
I am curious from the viewers, and down in the comments below, please let us know. Do you agree? Were we kind of in line with some of our pricing? Would you agree with those, inflation adjusted numbers? Were we being a little too generous to each other, or were we charging each other a little bit too much? Let us know down in the comments below, and more importantly, let us know how you would spend your 100 million. And if you want to kind of use our little pricing system as a little gauge as to how to put your list together, that's fine. And if you have your own pricing system that you believe is more accurate, that's fine too. Just go ahead and put that along with your comment down below. So, Surveillance, we have had a pretty interesting start to 2025
Yeah,
with
I'd say
with
pretty well.
yesterday's episode with Brandon from Theme Park Brandon. We kind of unpacked a little bit of the news cycle and some of the things that have been happening for parks, as well as some of the release of the calendar for a lot of our favorite parks in the country. Um, and
Yeah.
we've seen some parks reduce hours. We've seen some parks add hours. So, what's your take on where the industry stands right now? What do you expect this season to look like?
Staffing shortages. I mean, the same as it has been since I got into the hobby. Like, I don't think you should go on the busiest day. Like
Right.
for example, at Cedar Point, and there's one parking booth open, and they're like, well, the parking lot's full. We're not going to waste our money paying employees, but so you're going to back traffic up for 5 miles
Right.
and to Sandusky. Like, at least turn people around, do something.
Yeah, it's and they should have it more convenient for people to get to those self-service kiosks. They have it such single file the entire way down the peninsula that, like you said, if you go on a busy day, you're going to spend at least an hour or two sitting in your car trying to get to a parking space.
I
Um,
just I think everything should be open. I get it. It's Wednesday, middle of July.
right.
It's slow. I get it. But Saturday, Halloween weekends, like, come on, staff your park. Like,
Now, I'm with you.
like at some point, you're just pinching nickels. Like, and you're just upsetting guests that aren't going to be more willing to come back and keep spending money. Like,
Right. I talked with Brandon about this yesterday, but the news story that Cedar Point was taking away the extra bonus money per hour for those that stuck with the company through COVID.
right. Yeah,
Um,
I've talked to a few of those workers. Like, they said that's why specifically why they stayed. Like, they were
right.
gonna leave,
Yeah,
but hey,
absolutely.
I get this extra $5 an hour. Like, you wouldn't think so, but it really helped.
No doubt. I mean, for some of these people, if they're making $20 and they're taking five of it away, that's a 25% pay increase to go do the same job you've been doing for the last 2 years.
Right.
And
Hmm.
right, wrong, or indifferent, whether they should have given them that money to begin with. If you make a commitment to your employees, you should really consider following through. The argument that I had made with Brandon was, if you're not going to follow through on on an employment contract, something that you volunteered, uh, you're also the same company that is bringing in hundreds of employees every year from out of the country. So
Yeah, but they
what type of
that that
reputation do you want to have with employees when they know that you don't honor your employment contract? So I'm going to travel halfway around the world expecting to come and work here, and there's a chance that you could pull the rug out from under me. So,
hmm
does this affect Cedar Point long term? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how big of a news story it's going to become, but I think it should be a bigger news story than what it is, because if they start to gain a reputation for not treating their employees well, I don't know if they're going to have the same success of being able to staff that place.
Well, I didn't know until recently that through that I don't know what else to call it. I'm not trying to be offensive. The foreign worker program,
Right.
they don't pay taxes like they
Correct.
would for you or me,
Right.
being U.S. citizens. So
Yeah.
it's very beneficial to Cedar Point. Like, hey, let's get these Americans out of here making $5 more an hour. Yeah, they'll keep churning out, foreign citizens that want to come to the United States. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I took it.
And you know what? Maybe it's not a terrible recipe, knowing that the border's closed, and some of these kids, the only way that they could come in is to come and work at Cedar Point.
Right.
Uh, I mean, I'm sure that that's not the case, but I'm sure you do not have, illegal immigrants running around in third world countries saying, "Boy, I'm going to escape to America by way of Cedar Point." But
Right.
if you do, hey, more power to you. More power to you. Um, but yeah, Cedar Point is, they are in a really unique position because they're either set to have one of the best years they've had in the history of their park, if they are successfully able to open Siren's Curse and Top Thrill 2 this year, and have them operate with any type of regularity. It's going to be an amazing year, a record breaking year for the park. Oh, arguably one of the best in its history. If they
Absolutely.
fail, oh Lord.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't think you can have two back-to-back awful seasons. You
But
can't have a repeat.
supposedly they set an attendance record last year without Top Thrill 2. So I don't even know what to think about that.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that either. I'm not 100% sure how reliable those ticket booth numbers have been over the last year or two, because I've heard conflicting numbers regarding Hershey Park from 2023 and from 2024. So, based on what's been reported, based on what I've been told, those numbers vary. So, did they break a record? Maybe. I think it's more likely that they did not than that they did. But uh, had Top Thrill 2 operated, I think they would have easily broken the record. And they're definitely poised to do it this year if they successfully get both of these rides done and ready for
Yeah.
the public. So,
Well, I'm sure you can attest to this. Like, I have family members that don't give a whip about roller coasters or amusement parks, and they're, have you ridden Top Thrill 2? Like,
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a
like it's in the
polarizing.
no, but it's in the I'm trying to think of the right word. Like it's in the I wouldn't say it's mainstream, but it's definitely out there. Like
Yeah,
even
yeah. People definitely know about it.
right.
And I think it's also thanks to guys like what's his name, Marcus Lashock or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
The
WGN.
Yeah, and people like that, helping get people not to be embarrassed to admit that they're roller coaster enthusiasts. I think that it's actually a pretty big deal. To not
Yeah.
be embarrassed or afraid to say, "Hey, I love doing that shit, and those are great rides. I want to keep doing it. I don't care how
It,
old I am."
it
Uh,
reminds me of pro wrestling, WWF. Like, there's only been a couple times in life where, like, yeah, I'm a wrestling fan. Like, and every other time it's like, oh, I better not say that out loud.
no, I get you. I get you. I was a huge wrestling fan growing up. Uh, And I'll even turn it on still from time to time now. But I think the older stuff was way better TV. Um,
Right.
but
Obviously.
yeah, this season, man, it is going to be a make it or break it for Cedar Point. I think that many parks are going to be in a prove it type atmosphere this year, because I think a lot of management is going to be under the lights and under the
Oh,
focus of corporate.
I think a lot of management's on the chopping block. Like,
As do I. As do
uh,
I've been getting the impression that there could be a significant amount of turnover um, within the park management structure at nearly every location. So I don't know what that's going to mean, but it does appear to be an additional cost cutting effort by corporate, and we'll see how that all pans out. But I mean, as it is, they already have the marketing departments working multiple parks and multiple regions, and they are really doing their absolute best to pinch every single penny. And
no, and it
if it
shows. That's and I hope, but I'm pretty sure I'm wrong that it doesn't deter from the guest experience. But when you go to Kings Island or Kings Dominion and they're only running one side of their racing coasters because of
correct,
staffing, like that's bullshit. Like, don't even run a
I agree.
racing coaster.
Yeah, if you can't race it the way that it is meant to race, then don't run it.
I would understand that more than running one side. Like, what's the fun in that? And Hershey's guilty of that too. Don't just think I'm picking on Cedar Fair.
Yeah, no, Lightning Racer does have moments where it'll only run one side. That is true,
And the
and
employees straight up told us, like, well, there's nothing wrong with it. We don't have
right.
enough people to run it.
Yep, yep, and that's becoming far too commonplace. Far too commonplace. Um, so as we had discussed offline and off episode a couple weeks ago, I did in fact make travel plans to be able to hit California and to be
Yeah.
able to try and get some of those credits out of the way. I spoke briefly with Brandon about it yesterday as well, and
The
uh,
elusive credits.
yeah, try to knock some things out. We talked about it offline earlier today. We count credits for ourselves. Really is what it ends up turning out to be. But um, I don't know. I think with any passion, if you have a target, if you have a goal, it helps add to the passion. At least it does for me. If there's something that I'm working towards, I don't know. It adds to it for me. There's such childish excitement when I am on my way to go and ride something that I've never ridden before.
No, the minutia of my daily grind is like, I'm doing this so I can do X, I can do Y, I can do Z. Like,
Yeah,
I get it. I mean, that's how I kind of look at it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I think so. Going through the daily grind, working, saving money. I'm saving money to be able to go on trips. That's that's pretty much it. I don't have much interest in material items anymore, just more in experiences and being able to go out and truly live life the way that we were intended to see as much as we can and touch and smell and feel, as many parts of this country that we can possibly be offered. And it is a damn beautiful country, my friend.
oh,
The diversity that we have throughout the U.S. is remarkable, and that's going to kind of segue me into one of the videos that I'm working on currently, which is going to be the top 5 U.S. destinations for budget-friendly family vacations, and I'm sure you probably have a couple ideas of a few cities that might make that list, but I think that it's really important right now, not just as a roller coaster community, but as as a country, to remember that it's all of my Republican friends who think that the country is automatically fixed overnight and that money is going to become readily available again and prices are just going to drop through the floor. That's not
yeah.
how it works, and things are going to take time to show improvement, even if Trump is 100% successful. So
So you
we
mean
still need to be.
eggs are still expensive?
Eggs are still
Weird.
expensive, and they're gonna still be expensive for the foreseeable future, at least for several months, maybe a year, until we actually start to see any type of real precipitous price drop. But
Right.
i- in saying that, it's really important that we're all still budget conscious, and that goes to planning family vacation. So that's really going to be the focus of this video that I'm working on. I hope to be able to have it released next week and really give some families a lot of great ideas about how to be able to stretch their dollar this year and not have to sacrifice family memories. Um, I think that is critical.
If you remember anything I've said, whoever's in the White House doesn't control your house.
Yeah, more often than not, that is accurate. That is accurate. And
Yeah. I've
yeah,
found that to be true during my life. You know.
hopefully a little more so now. I'm hoping that he can have a little bit more quick effect, unlike other U.S. presidents. But you know, we're we all are just in a wait and see pattern. But again, saving money right now is not a bad move. It's not a
It
bad
never
idea.
it never has been.
Yeah. And if you can have that family experience, if you can create amazing memories together and not have to break the bank or have to pull out your credit card to go into further debt just to be able to take a vacation. um, all 5 of these destinations that I'm going to put up, these are all more than attainable without having to go into debt and still not have to sacrifice having a great time. Now, as far as your season surveillance, what is the first park that you intend on hitting this year in 2025?
Well, I already wanted it to be Knott's Berry Farm, but my friend and yours, Bill, says otherwise. Well, I have multiple friends named Bill. I call them Bills.
But hey, they're continuing on. They're continuing
Oh,
on.
yeah, they're gonna keep sending them even when you die. That's what I heard.
That's it. That's it. Well, they say that the only 2 things that are guaranteed in life are death and taxes, and that unfortunately is true, especially in the United States of America, regardless of who the president is. Um, but yeah, hey, thank you so much for hopping on tonight, playing
We
along with this game.
got another
Oh,
visitor.
and who is this?
This is Tiggs. He's a big
Pig.
fan.
Oh man, I love cats. I love dogs. I love all animals. It's just if you're not an animal lover or if you hate animals, I don't get you. We're not the
Yeah,
same type of people. They
yeah,
melt my heart. Melt
yeah.
my heart.
People that abuse animals, like, yeah.
Yeah, no, those are the worst of the worst type of people.
Mm-hmm.
Abusing animals, abusing women and children. That's the quickest way to get on my bad side. Is abuse one of those 3 sections of people or pets. So, hey,
Yep.
thank you so much for tuning
Thanks
in.
for having me.
Surveillance, thank
Mm.
you for joining me today. And
Thanks
thanks for
everybody
playing
for
along with the
listening.
game. Everybody, please hop down below in the comment section and give us your list. Give us your coaster lineup. How would you spend that $100 million if you were in charge of roller coaster development for a new park? And let us know between me and this guy, whose roller coaster lineups do you think is best? He and I will have some bragging rights over that here in the end. But
Oh no,
until next
I'm
time, guys,
I'm gonna owe you another shirt.
you're gonna. That's a little inside joke from Surveillance and myself and everybody with the Pennsylvania Roller Coaster Club. Till next time, guys, we'll see you out there.